Hey guys, I just wanted to explain or actually show some of the decisions that I made and why I have some of what I have here because I find that really helpful when other people do that. And so I thought I'd just discuss a few little parts of the book, not all of it. This is, it actually, I lost my tripod, so I'm doing the best I can here. But this is kind of it's just a little introduction about December. It's not my reason why page. I print on vellum, so I needed this to kind of back it up. And then this really nice quote by Jasmine Jones. I really liked that, so that just fit well there. This is sort of an introduction, so I just did photos of my family. It's like where we are right now, what we looked like, and I stamped with just stamps. This is us with, I think I put a double layer of vellum behind it just to give a little more opacity. And of course, a time for family, Allie's rubber stamp. And then on the back of it was my sort of reason why for this year. There's a stamp here that says the reason why. So I just ended up with this 6 reasons. Like I want to find and document the joy of this special season wherever it exists. And I put joy. I want us to experience all of the cozy that we may be fortunate enough to find, to share the season of giving with others. So I just had 6 little things, and I found to be a little more simple than a full-on intentions or the reason why page, because I have done that previously. So this was just a little change. And then the first, and I used these kind of transparent numbers. I can't remember where they're from. I bought them on sale at the end of 2015, so I used them this year. I like that they can kind of layer over things but don't necessarily take up a pocket because I don't always have room for that. This year, I was like super strict, keeping the stories short so it wouldn't be too full. And then it turns out I did have more room, so I will remember that for next time. But this was one of the answers to that, not taking up a pocket. My daughter had called. Was in her first year at school, and she called and said she wanted to go out and get boba. So they have these little foil tops just for the holidays. And so if you don't know what a boba is, it's a little Asian drink with little tapioca pearls. It's like a milk tea, tapioca pearls. Very good. But so we went and got Christmas bobas. And then on the back of it, she had sent me a picture of her dorm. Now the string of lights with little close-pinned photos to it, we put up back in September when she moved into her dorm. But it just looks very seasonally appropriate. And this pillow we bought, it was new for her, so it was kind of Christmassy. And I wanted Allie's digital stamps, but I just recolored it, made it very faint. So it kind of went along with the first story, although this didn't actually happen till I think she sent me the photo a couple days later. But it all went together. And then this page, this was a picture of a dinner, my husband's work dinner. And the setting was very pretty with this little brown box with a light blue ribbon and the candles and stuff. But because there wasn't a face or people in it, and it was a newer company, I just put the details on a piece of transparency over it. Had there been faces, I probably wouldn't have. But and you can see all the neutral stuff. And then this page gave me a little trouble. On this day we had I wanted the picture because the house was fully lit. I wanted the house to goes all the way across, which gave me like a 6x8 size here, which is usually great, except that I had taken 2 pictures of my boys who were lighting the house, and they happened to be vertical. And here's another, I had just adhered that to that bag. They happen to be vertical, and there's no way I could fit them on here. So what I did is I printed them out, regular 4x6 size, and I adhered them back to back with the little ribbon in between. Stuck it in the book. I'm sorry, little bag. And so that's how I ended up making this page work for what went on this side. And I'm sure there may have been other ways. I just didn't want to shrink them too small. The problem was, getting too vertical. It just didn't work. I was having issues. So that's kind of how I solved it with this particular one. And this one, it fit there, this number. Again, I like the transparency-ishness of it. And then on this page, we talked about we had just gotten the tree, and then she was the only one home. She had to go to work. My other daughter went back to her college room, and my 2 boys have already moved out. So it was very quiet, and it was unusual for her to have we just picked up the tree, and I put the lights on, and then that was kind of it. So we're just talking about, finding our own joy in a different type of joy in the calm. And then this side, I had this piece of ribbon. It looked like a letter, and then I just kind of played with it, and I made the word joy out of it. So it kind of went along with the story on the other side about, making our own joy or looking for it where you wouldn't normally see it. And then we actually got two trees, and my older daughter did help me put the lights on the next day. So I told the story under here. It just keeps it a little calmer, I think, under there. But I loved having her hands in with mine, and then Allie's inks stamped beautifully on photos. So let's see. Oh, and this is the other one. I always wanted to get a picture of the tree. Sometimes it just turns out so dark or the colors are off. And this one did too, but what I did is I stamped vellum. Well, actually I embossed. I stamped and then embossed some of Allie's stamps over vellum, and then I just kind of stuck it over the tree. And then I kind of liked the way it turned out, so I left it. It wasn't initially a plan, but it worked. Let's see. And on 7, I just picked 7 things I was loving right now. And of the 7, I just gathered them and put them on my desk and made sure that each was represented. Giving gifts, little white lights, little white houses. I really love those. White twinkle lights, Christmas music, jingle bells, baking these special spritz cookies, and these are little dies that go for the little, it's not really a gun, but I don't know, the press. And then trees, wreaths, and garlands is represented by the green. So on slow days, day 7 things I loved. Easy enough to do. And then we were out shopping on this day, my older daughter and I, and there's a candy store, this one actually, C's Candies. They always give you a free sample. My kids love they're like lollipops, but they're hard, kind of like it. They're specialized, like caramel and coffee flavored and chocolate. And so anyway, they like these. We usually get some each Christmas. And at each C's stores, they have this enameled calendar with the day. This one's kind of wrinkled. I don't know what happened to it, but I took a picture of that, and it worked out because I ended up using these little 2x2 squares for that day. So it was just kind of a fun little thing. So, again, I was just look for numbers when you're out and about. This day, my son came over to try and find out how we make this special Italian version of macaroni and cheese. He was having friends come over, and his contribution was this. So because it was at night, and at the time our kitchen lights were kind of yellowy looking, and this bright orange cheese, it was scary looking. So black and white to the rescue. And here's his hands and the cheese. I like doing that, obviously. And then on this day, even though we bought the tree way back at the beginning of December, it hadn't gotten beyond the lights. Yeah, I put the lights on, no decorations. And this particular Sunday, only the boys are around. So I thought, hey, why don't you guys do the tree? They were up for it. They did it. They did a great job. And so I printed the story on the vellum that they were the only ones. And this is the first time. And then, of course, they finished the job and did a very guy thing and high five. So I thought that was kind of cute. And then on the back, this is it's printed on a copier that's not the greatest, but it's the only one I have that prints in the large format. So I printed that out, and on the back of it, it was just plain. I put 3 little black and white, basically cameos of them. Day 11, not that big a deal. Day 12, went on a home tour that actually is it's like a fundraiser for our church for the women's programs, and it's just like a $5 for you just go and tour homes. My sister and I went, and at one of the houses, the lady had made these little trees out of garland and corks, and said, take one home. And so this is mine. That was my sister's, and this is kind of the way I chose to document it because it was at night, and it was like, which house do you pick? So this kind of was fun. And this is the story of this dog sneaking into her room, getting chocolate. She actually suffered chocolate poisoning that night. We were really worried about her, but she survived. So I told the story over here, actually here, and a little bit here. Then said, luckily Macy survived another of her adventures with chocolate. Sure hope it's the last and final time. She's done that before, other rooms. And that, what I wrote on this photo with was the Smash pen. I'd had one before. It's got a really fine tip. I don't think it's going to focus. But I really like it for writing. And so I actually went online and actually ordered some extras without, because I obviously don't have Smash books, but I like that. Okay, so on this day, so that was just a photo, 5x7 obviously, and I adhered on the back of it the next day's story, which was Christmas toys that my daughter and I also went out and bought for Toys for Tots. So it was just kind of like I wrote a story to the toys about hoping they'd find a good home. And this is my daughter picking out the toys with me. And it was, these colors were so garish and so busy that, she was hard to find. So I turned it black and white. And I think this little element is from Letter Glow, and you can change the opacity, and so I just put in the joys of picking out the toys, and that kind of solved that. And here's the little story. So one of the other solutions is black and white flip ups, and this is one of the dies that Allie offered last year. I just kind of layered it over one of the other pictures of our friend's house, and they won a little award. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I forgot. And they won a little lighting award, so it was kind of fun. This is Allie's sweater paper, and I printed it out on vellum and stamped December with white StazOn on it. I don't know if it's showing up that well. In real life, it shows up better, but that's a fun thing to do too. And we finally got to have a baking day with my mother, my sister, and one of my daughters. And so there she is with my sister, there's my mother, and there she is working by herself. She came up with some funny looking cookies here on her own. And just pictures of it, and it was just a good way to fit in what, I don't have to pick one particular picture or even two. So just little glimpses. And then this little tree, one of my jobs was to unwrap the kisses, because my younger daughter wanted to make this peanut butter blossoms with the kiss on the top. And I just stuck them in the tree shape and took the picture, but normally that wouldn't have gone in. So the little 2-inch squares where you can put a lot of different things in, works. And by the way, that's my mom. She's 80. She just turned 80. Doesn't she look good for her age? In this picture, I actually caught all 3 of them in. So it doesn't matter if I'm not in it. I just got them. So, and this was a Christmas party with a bunch of friends. And originally I had this cute little glassine bag here, which I really like. But because of these extra pictures of people who came to help, I wanted to put that in. Like, she came early to help, my daughter helped, and on the back, the boys helped load the tables to bring extra tables and chairs. And so I didn't want to leave necessarily these out because people were helpful, but because of these sharp corners, it kept ripping the little glassine bag. So for now, I just have this. I'm not happy with it yet. I'll figure something out. And this was my search for cozy. Again, I would have preferred a 6x8, but my good printer only prints 5x7. So then I just wrote the story on the outside of a white cardstock that I had attached it to. And I stapled the cozy from, I believe it was the Paisley Press kit. And I don't know why necessarily I put it in the page protector, because it could very easily have been left out. But for some reason I did. And you know what? I made this because I didn't have anything on this side, and I don't know why I didn't go back and find a 6x8 to print out, or even a 5x7. I really like the 6x8. I do have to go to Target or someplace to really print out a good one, but I've done that. So I'm not sure. I might even go back and see if there's some picture that I didn't get in here and just replace that. I'm not really sure. This tag was from, I copied Allie's idea. I think hers is a white one and her letters came out different, so she ended up spraying them all white. But these colors went well, and these were from, I want to say the 2015 kit, I think, and I hadn't used them all, so it worked out really well. And I just made this out of cardstock that I had purchased to match with my kit, and it just talks about how I'd said earlier on I was looking for cozies a moment. So being that it was really cold, I'm going backwards here for a minute, I mentioned that it was super cold. So here in California, it was not that usual for the evenings to get in the 30s. So that's why the blankets were cozy. And, you know, just this little lights in my bedroom. I put them up. Sometimes my husband and I have had a little tree, but this time on this dresser, I'd put these little jars of bottle brush trees and Epsom salt with glitter, and then a little string of lights behind it, and it just kind of lights it up. So early morning and the evening, it just shows up nicely as, you know, and it just seemed like a moment of cozy to me. And actually, this hat has been sitting there for I don't know how long. And at one point, we're like, where did that Santa hat go? And it's been there for so many months that we forgot. But anyway, so it showed up in the photo. And this is more cozy, how the early morning, the Christmas tree reflected onto the wood floor. Okay, so now this is just, I kind of wanted to show for day 20, the Sister Joan quote, and I did it on vellum as Allie did. And I thought, oh, I like stars last year, and so I tried to do a little cutout. I just freehanded it, cut it out with an X-Acto knife, and it was too flimsy. I had so much open area, which I wanted to show through here, but it was too flimsy. So I ended up attaching it to the back of a piece of graphics plastic, which, I don't know, I've had some issues with it scratching, so I'm hoping, you know, it hasn't been in here that long, so we'll see after a few years if it scratches or not. But it was just kind of, I love this little see-through. And the tape bugs me on the back. We'll see if I can live with it. Don't know. I'm trying. I'm really trying to live with it. And here's the quote. I just really like that. It's a great little quote. And then day 21, just with photos. But I went back and added this. This is one of the ones I'd hoarded because I didn't want to waste it and then find something much better to put it on. And I ended up not using it. So I came back. And that I actually just put on about maybe a month ago. And I think I did that somewhere else. I added something. And yes, I was writing out the cards. And here's the outtakes. I don't know if you can see the wind just blew in my face and her face. And then my son goofing around and then my other daughter and son goofing around. So I liked having a place for outtakes. I liked Allie's idea of the 2x2 squares. That's a good thing. Use those. And then, of course, I always include the album. This time I cut those little pieces of graphics plastic right here. I folded it in half, attached with red line tape, and punched a hole so that I could attach the card directly in without putting holes in the card, basically. And this is just a little label had come from Allie's, one of her kits. I really don't remember which one. And these little wood veneer reindeer, so it works as a little way to, it keeps it closed, but it gives you something also to pull. And then I had this cookie recipe card. I loved it. I took it out. I'm not sure what I did with it. And one of the reasons I bought the kit, the Paisley Press last year, was I love that card about it gave you a place to put a recipe. My mother does these wonderful spritz cookies. So I remember growing up, and so every Christmas I have to have those. I did add a new recipe, and I have a couple new recipes, but I was so excited to do that. But then I ended up not doing it. So it was empty. And then the reason goes on, I can show I have other recipes. So I didn't really focus on one. I think this year I will. So I pulled that out. And this is an old, I think, 2014 card. And I just put the story of today. This is time for family. All I want for Christmas. Those are all stamps from Allie's past rubber stamp kits. And in my mind, I saw it black. But then when I saw this picture, I went ahead and turned it red. And I think it works. And it kind of matches some of the green over here. Even though I don't have a lot of green in the book, you know, it worked out. And I do have that one also where the dog almost poisoned herself. It ended up, you know, because there's green in this Paisley Press last year a little bit, and it just worked. Nope, I guess that was it. And it kind of worked. So I have a little bit throughout here. And of course, this Paisley Press, she had some green, so it was cool. This is what some wonderful soul had sent me, this envelope, and inside of it, I have the Christmas cookies as well as the recipes. That's why I kind of ended up not needing the other, didn't really, focusing on the one, I kind of feel like I blew it. So this year, I'm going to do it differently. So these are the chai cookies, chai spice sugar cookies I hadn't made before. This one, cherry and white chocolate chip cookie, I had the uncooked one on the other side. And then the best best sugar cookie recipe, which I've been looking for. And here I actually made it. It didn't spread too much, and it had a combination of almond flavoring and vanilla flavoring, which really did make it good. So it might be one of the best. I don't know if it's the best. It spread a little bit. I see some that say they don't spread. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe those don't even taste good. But so that's what and I listed the cookies because I don't always make the same ones. There's one, oh, molasses and spritz we always make. The others, just find some new ones. And I should probably flip that over so it looks better. And I don't think I did anything highly innovative anywhere else or solved problems. But again, I love this number because there's so much going on the 24th and the 25th that it doesn't take up a space. Just a regular 4x6. I adhere to back to back. The kids are at my parents' house in front of my parents' tree. Again, one of Allie's elements and I had printed on vellum, and then this little tag, I took one of the pieces of the gray cardstock I had, Allie's stamp, and I embossed it. And the stamps are so clear and precise that they emboss really well. And then this is a 3x8. I have them and I just kept forgetting to use it. I don't know why. I love this close-up. I would like to do more of that. On this side is a picture of this like narrowish area between the dining room, living room, and hallway. And it worked well for the shape of the 3x8, but I kind of like the really close-up. So I'd like to incorporate more of those. And then I made sure I had a picture of one of all the 4 kids and my husband and I, and then the kids doing their typical goofy things, which just makes it so fun. Yeah, and then this also helps. We played some games, Christmas, and so this really helps get a lot of little things in. And on the back side, I didn't have more, so I backed the 2x2 pockets, which obviously have been cut down. And I backed it with white cardstock and just put this photo of my daughters. We're just relaxing by the fire at the end of the day, and I just loved it. I don't know if it's showing up. It might be kind of dark, I can't tell, but they're just sitting there in silhouette with a fire. And I don't always go on past December 25th. It just kind of depends in this one, but what I've dubbed is the 26th is jammy day. Not necessarily jammies, but comfortable clothes, sit home the whole day and do nothing. There's so much build up, so much work all through Christmas, which I love, but it's great to have a day designated just a day of rest and gratitude for the entire season. And I punch a little teeny tiny heart for the eye. I'm sorry, star. Stars are different than hearts. And then I had a hair appointment the following day, so I went ahead and documented this day. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have had anything. And I popped into a Target right near the lady who cuts my hair, the place, and found these little woodland creatures, which I'm kind of wanting to go towards this year. Another 3x8. My husband and I went shopping this day. My younger daughter, was making a lot of those coffee and cocoa drinks, making them look fancy, and really didn't have a place for it, so it worked out well there. This is a picture of a basket, this metal wall basket I have on my wall here in my room, my craft room, and it has in there the cards that came from the December Daily Christmas card swap. Just fun to look up and see all the pictures that bring me joy from all the new friends, online friends. And this tells we went to a New Year's Eve party. It just discusses it. Now this was a picture I had taken of this little decoration, this little tree. Truck. I like to collect these little old trucks, and I had put the little branch in it and the berries, and I hadn't used it, and I just thought, okay, I'll use it. But there's this verse here, for I am about to do something new, Isaiah 43:19. But the idea of new coming on December 1st, January 1st. So this was New Year's Eve, heading into somewhere new. And on this side, it was another same thing. I had a basket of these snowballs I'd created years ago. I made them from styrofoam balls, joint compound, and a white paint and a little glitter. And they've been around forever, but I really like them. And so it worked as a good background too. And I think this quote kind of sums up the whole December Daily idea. Enjoy the little things in life, for one day you'll look back and realize they were the big things. The quote is attributed to Kurt Vonnegut, but I've seen other places it's attributed to other people, so I don't really know who it was. I'm not going to reprint the photo just for that because that's not the important thing. The important thing is the sentiment. And then over here is that little Starbucks coffee cup with the sleeve. I just did here the sleeve and made it like a little pocket to hold this little mini book. And the reason I even did this is because, of course, the Starbucks cups were a big deal. And my family does. We go, like, when we go, there's this one neighborhood near us that we go to look at the lights. And we've started just, we all go to Starbucks and buy a holiday drink. Oh, technically a Christmas drink. But so we did have the cups, but these are little pictures that we had that didn't really have a place to go, so I stuck it here. And maybe next year I would just let them go. I don't know. My daughter made some Secret Santa tags that year. Actually, it was the one you pull out to find out who you were buying for. This year I've done it online, but so it was cute. She made those, so I had to have the picture, so I put in there to tell her what it was. This is explaining all the different Starbucks cups because this year it was the first year they had multiples and the ones that we had. So that's that. This is just a picture of the tree with some of the presents. I'm talking about, it took us 5 hours to go through everything. That's a long time. The picture of my parents with my kids. That we usually have a picture of that, so that worked out well. This poinsettia was on my kitchen counter with the basil plant. And I just wrote, the colors of the season, because it just stood out to me as, that's interesting. And again, not a big story, so it wouldn't have gone anywhere else. And then my older daughter had taken this picture. It was on Snapchat, so I screenshot it. And she said, gonna miss this. Can't it just be the beginning of December again? We do real trees. We had 2 real trees, so, they can't stay around for long. So those little stories now have a place to go. So anyway, I just want to let you know some of the reasons I made some of the decisions that I made, the problems that I encountered, and how I ended up solving them. And I know there's multiple ways to solve them, but that's what I came up with. So I hope you find, these helpful in some way. And I will probably be, I don't know, I got to start getting going on 2017 fairly soon. So anyway, hopefully I will talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.